Think you know what way it's going to go?
Make your bet at Sports Interaction.
Whether it's World Cup, hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered.
Bet pregame, live and play, or one of our many prop bets.
Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out.
Join now and see all sports betting has to offer.
Wanna bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN.
That's sportinteraction.com/SDPN.
19 plus, please play responsibly.
She scores!
Take a moment to look up at the ceiling. You're about to bust through it.
SDPN, the PWHPA and Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook, presents hockey like you've never heard it before. The Knoxy and Kax Show with Liz Knox and Karell Emard.
Let's get it. Go.
Welcome back to the Knoxy and Kax Show. I'm your host, Liz Knox, along with Karell Emard out in Montreal. We're so excited to be back after an amazing Pittsburgh Showcase weekend. We're going to get to some of those stats updates from Kax in just a bit. And then after that, we're going to do something we've never really done before, Kax. We're going to answer some fan questions from Twitter. So why don't you start us off with stats by Kax?
So we actually have been now to three different showcases. So I thought it would be nice. As you all know, I work, or maybe you don't know, but I work with a company here in Montreal that does advanced analytics for the NHL and others. And we are supporting the PWHPA. And I thought it'd be neat to actually look over a little bit of our leader so far this season. I don't want to do it like we usually do, and we look at goals and assists and points, Knoxy. I want to look at other things that are fun, or maybe even a little bit more in depth. Okay. So
cool.
Some metrics might be a little tough to understand for you, Knoxy, but other.
It's funny because when we were in Toronto, Sport Logic sends me like a pregame package when I was doing color. And I literally was looking at me like, I don't know what half this shit is. So there's all these acronyms.
Okay, so we're not going to go through everything that's like OGP or PDP that you're probably referring to, which are offensive generating plays and such. But what I want to go over is a couple areas where some of our players are like actually, not surprising us, but I think it's fun and has a nice little twist on our typical, who's leading in goals and who's leading in points. All right. So I'm going to start us off with a couple different areas, but we're going to stick with offensive generating plays for a little bit of a section here, but we're going to go with chances. Okay. So Knoxy, instead of going with just general scoring chances, you're going to try to guess who is my, ranked number one in this section. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Give me, who do you think has the most chances that came from a cycle? So cycle chances. So
ooh. Okay.
Usually it's just so we clarify, it's like a play is happening. Obviously it's a cycle, and then the person is generating this chance. So taking the shot. So not necessarily the person who's starting the cycle, but could be
the person who's finishing, like taking the shot on net off the cycle,
or is part of like that little motion and gets that shot on net. You got it.
I'm going to say after this weekend, after the Adidas Harvey's game, Adidas possessed the puck a lot in the offensive zone. So I'm going to go with Team Adidas.
Okay.
And for a player, I'm going to say Sarah Nurse.
Damn. You were close. Okay. First of all, you got the right team. Second of all, Sarah Nurse is second on this list.
Ooh,
sorry.
Okay.
So top three, we've got Kendall Coyne with 14 chances, Sarah Nurse with 12, and Victoria Bach from Scotiabank with 12 as well too.
Scotiabank up top. Okay.
You got to put him in there. And then the fourth one is Pooh. And then fifth is Abby Rock. So we'll do a quick top five sometimes, but you get the adjust a little bit here. Okay.
Good representation up top. Okay.
I like it. Okay. Who do you think has got the most primary assists? So I'm going general here. So primary assist is obviously the first assist to a goal.
primary assists. I'm going to guess. Ooh. Well, Johnny has a lot of points, and she's been playing with Turnbull. So I'm going to guess Blair, Turnbull, Scotiabank. Final answer.
Okay. Blair Turnbull is second in that list. So but I think you're missing a couple games. And the first one is Lee Steckline, actually. So Lee, we got a D here setting things up for Team Harvey's and helping out, in the scoring area here. She's got 6 assists. And then so it goes Lee, Blair, Turnbull, Jessie Eldridge, Brianne Jenner, and then Kristen O'Neill. Right there. Yeah.
Lee had that huge game in Truro where she had a 4-point game. So that makes sense. That would have inched her to the top.
I like to see D up there, I think Savannah Harmon's going to jump in there at some point too.
Good offensive prowess.
Okay, I got one more in the offense, and then we'll do a couple goalie ones for you. Obviously, I gotta send some love to the goaltenders here. All right, give me your best guest for rush chances. So the player, an individual player that creates most rush chances.
Easy, Marie-Philippe Poulin.
Okay, not bad, but you are wrong again. You were wrong. Actually, after this weekend, 7 games in. No, it's not. It's not. I'm telling you, the one player that is creating the most rush chances for is Laura Stacey. And she's been crushing it. And she had a great weekend this weekend. She's got 14 chances for. Yeah. In 7 games. So
Stacey's been buzzing. I'm not going to lie. She's playing fantastic hockey right now. And I love that for her.
Shout out to Stace. And then we've got Rebecca Johnson, Marie-Philippe Poulin, Victoria Bach, and Jamie Lee Rattray. So again, okay, we're in the mix of like the fast players carrying the puck in. It makes sense.
Doing what they do best.
Exactly.
Okay, give me some goalies or some defense or something that maybe I can get one
goalies, right. Goalies. Let's go goalie because, okay, so actually, because I think this is something that sometimes we overlook, but it's not necessarily about the amount of shots that you face, I don't think, as a goaltender, but how dangerous those shots are. So,
touche.
You're going to give me, so I guess our goalies have played between 3 to 5 games, okay, each or about. I want you to guess who has faced the most inner slot shots amongst the goaltenders.
Before I get to that, I will say inner slot shots is one of the best tongue twisters in hockey because I tried to say it on the broadcast and it was nearly fatal to my broadcasting
If the French
career.
kid can say it, you need to be better. Inner slot shots. Let's go.
Okay. Inner slot shots or chances or shots. I'm going to go with a Sonic goalie because in the first couple showcases, they were taking some time to kind of coordinate, I would say, their D zone.
Okay.
And I feel like they had a lot of high chances.
Listen, we're not attacking any D zone system here. We're just saying.
This is just facts.
Got it.
I think Laura Mack would be with me on that one. Okay, so let's say it's a toss up between Nicole Hensley. She had a stellar Truro showcase, and Lindsay Browning, who also had a great Montreal and Pittsburgh. So I'm going to say Lindsay Browning.
Damn. You had it. You had it with Nicole Hensley. Sonnet, absolutely. Nicole Hensley has been, performing a couple more games. I think that's why. But you would have been in the mix in there. She has faced 42 inner slot shots. That's like crazy.
That's
and Renee, and Renee's second. So that means my team.
Renee is probably only second as of this weekend though, because she had like 50 shots on the
and then it's
Saturday
Emrance Smashmeyer. So you got the 3 Emrance on Sunday faced, I don't know how many shots, but Poulin's line was just tic-tac-toeing around. It was crazy. It was nuts. Yeah. So amount of rebounds that she faced too. And, tough game, but yet did her job, I think. On that level.
For sure. Gave her team a chance to win. The Debian Mashmeyer battle, I'll say on Sunday, was like a goalie's dream. Like just watching those two absolutely put on a clinic and like making saves that were in my head for sure goals. Both of them made a couple crazy 2-on-1 saves, like just stretching across. They, like you say, it stunk for Mash that they didn't come out with a win because she played unreal. But at the same time, and Renee Desbiens played equally as well on the other side. So,
oh yeah, no, it's been crazy. And to that extent, so let's go advanced a little bit, but something you could actually figure it out goaltender wise. So it's based on the expected goals against, right? So the quality of shots that a goaltender is facing. And again, as you just figured out a little bit of a inner slots type of area, I want you to try to guess who is our top 3 or top 5. Let's go with top 5 for goals saved. So each game,
like goals.
Yes. So that we expected the goalies
so
to actually
that would go in on me, but that they made the save.
As I'm doing this, no, that's we're not. But technically, yes. So
that's what we're going for.
Who's been saving? And it's honestly on a very like limited, I would say, amount of games too. Again, right. So it's gonna get even better. But I'll just give the ranking for this one. So
okay,
give me 1, 2, 3.
I'm picking 1, 2, 3.
So who's been kind of like saving their team's bum? Since the most,
geez, that is hard.
But you gotta also think that like, okay, so who's been saving the most and who's been not necessarily letting the most either, right? So there's tough scenarios.
Yeah. Here. Ooh, yeah.
This is your last section. Then we are done with stats with Kax.
Oh man, that's hard. Okay, I'm trying to like think of everybody now. Okay, Hensley's got to be up there. Hensley's up there because she has a lot of games played and she's been playing unreal. So I'm going to put her. Oh, wait. Are you giving me number 3?
Yeah,
is that
I'm
3?
giving you. That's 3. Wow. I'm giving you
totally what I was going to say.
Starting in number 3.
Yeah, it's like award presentations. You start
now
like
2 and 1.
And
let's go.
In second place, predicted by Liz Knox.
Let's go hints. Because it's not that well. She speaks French. Or she can speak French.
Oh, that's very different. Lacasse.
Good job. Okay. Number 2. And then you're number 1.
And then number 1 would probably be expected goals. A goalie that makes saves that I wouldn't make.
Goals saved. The most goals saved per game right now. More total, I guess, right now.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Renee Desbiens.
My God, this is your first section. That you got it all perfect. Well done. So we got Anna Renee, number 1, Jen, Nicole Hensley, Kristen Campbell, and then Emran Smashmeyer. Mash has played the most games with Nicole, I guess, Hensley. So their numbers are, maybe affected similar, a little bit more than the other, but they're similar as well, too. So to keep, to stay kind of like on top of it, I think we should do it after Christmas, after a couple showcase. We'll redo a little stats with Kax,
Stats with Kax. That was a great section, man. Thanks for using your brain with us. That was awesome.
You're very welcome.
I want to do that again already.
Well, we
can make this into a game show.
We could actually, and then even like who has the advantage on the other teams for our next showcase, we could do a little bit of that. I can bring that up.
That is one thing that, like, not to blow smoke or anything here, but the benefits of having stats this year and such detailed stats is really fun. It makes it a lot more fun to follow. And I don't know if you saw this, Kax, but on Saturday, actually, the PWHPA retweeted that there's Cool Bets Canada picked up our games for the weekend. And so my understanding, I talked to Chelsea Purcell about this, is that they actually don't have to partner with us to take our games and like offer bets on them. Okay. So they did it out of their own like curiosity, interest, will. And it's cool because that's a huge part of sports now, is like watching the numbers, getting your odds, and maybe making a little cashola.
I know it's crazy. It's good. And again, you mentioned it, but broadcasting wise, like that's a lot of information prior, but it's also like huge in terms of like seeing maybe other players than the point scorer or the you know, like the amount of like
obvious.
The obvious guys that we all know and we all want to cover and at all times, you know, but you know, who's got the most block passes and who's got the more like anticipation, who's been recovering the puck the most after a shot and stuff. So defensively, offensively, those are things we can look at. So it's interesting to put a little bit of a different twist on these things. And thanks to Sport Logic, we've got this. They're supporting the PWHPA like they're supporting the NHL and other teams like that.
Yes.
Or leagues.
We appreciate
like
them.
That.
And maybe Sports Interaction next. We'll see. I'm plugging that out here now.
That's a good one.
SDPN, you guys know where to find us. Okay, so let's get into this is a new thing for us. And I kind of like it. I'm kind of like when we like reached out to Jesse and he's like, oh yeah, we'll just, you know, ask the internet what they want to know. I'm kind of like, should we do this once a month? I feel like this is a great way to connect to fans and just people who are curious about women's hockey, curious about the PWHPA. So in no particular order, I have compiled at least the questions that I saw from last night and this morning. So we don't really have a plan for this. We're just going to kind of read the question and then
Kax, we
can take turns answering or whatever. And we haven't prepared answers. We're literally just going to go off the cuff. What happens? Yeah. So let's start with at Insider J Money. Good fan of the show. Love to see him getting some questions in. So he says, love the fact that the PWHPA goes to a city like Truro. My question is, where would your top 3 locations or arenas be to see the Secret Dream Gap Tour go? Can be anywhere in North America or the world. Kax, why don't you lead us off with one?
Okay. I got 2, and for 2 different reasons, and they're going to be in North America, actually. The first one that I would love, like Truro-like style and everything, I would love for the PWHPA to have a showcase in Beauceville. And you know why? I'm not from Beauce at all. Mary Philip Poulin is from Beauce. And to be completely honest, I've done like casual games or like fun games or event games there, and the fans in the city just shows up and they are amazing people and they're all in the rink. And when they announce her name, the rink goes freaking crazy, but I just love the atmosphere there. I love the people. They're so happy to see women's hockey. There's a group that's been working there for a long time, just doing like little women's tournament or girls tournament. And they've been trying to get actually the rivalry. So like a game, Canada, US there, which is close to the border, would make sense too in a way.
An easy drive.
Yeah, exactly. But from my own experience, it would be absolutely freaking fantastic. And then I'm going to go as cheesy as I am. I would love to bring everyone to Kenton, New York, Appleton Arena and have a little bit of a game here or showcase at St. Lawrence University. It's a little Kent. It's like they have nothing else to do but to come to hockey games. And it's like, I love it. The fans, I went there a couple weekends ago or a month ago now. And it was the same fans that I had when I was playing there. And I think they would show up again too. So why don't you go and give me 1 or 2 maybe?
I love that. My choice is actually going to be really far-fetched.
Go.
But you know what? Insider J Money said anywhere in the world.
He did.
I would love to bring the PWHPA back to where I played overseas, which is in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. And I say it like an Aussie, Melbourne. Canadians say Melbourne, but that's not how it's said, okay? I live there, I know.
Oh, my.
But I will say the fandom of hockey in Australia is unlike anything I've ever seen before because it's so unique. People who...
Explain.
Like people in Canada, everyone in Canada likes hockey.
Yeah.
And come the Olympics, they love hockey. Fans who like go out of their way in like one of the hottest countries in the world to find an arena to watch hockey, especially women's hockey, are such a unique breed. And it's so fun there. I think if the PWHPA could go anywhere, like why not head down to Australia, get some shrimp on the bobby and play a little ice hockey.
I hope we have
awesome.
I hope people are listening from there right now, some of your friends, and they're going to appreciate you saying things just the way you did. With that accent.
Aussie accent. Fair income. That would be my pick.
Okay. I like it. You know what?
Okay,
you went all out.
I did. Yeah. Well, let's reach for the stars, right?
Yeah, as you should.
Okay. Next question we have at Hockey Thirst. What sport would you play if you didn't play hockey? Or, now this takes a weird turn. What are your top three favorite snacks?
I think we should answer both.
So yeah, we have to do both.
Okay. I love the answer. Actually, you didn't say it, but
sorry. So the second part of the question is, what are your top three snacks for non-game days? Kax, she says, I'm a popcorn girl myself, but I'm weak for chocolate chip cookies. Mm-hmm. Okay. Amen, girl.
I like all of this. I'm a chips girl. Okay. So I don't know if anyone is actually, I don't know if it makes sense. I don't know if anyone is actually able to close a bag of chip at some point while they're eating them, but I can't. The thing is like, it's controlling my life once it's open and it needs to be emptied by the time I'm done with it. So
you're just not a quitter.
I can't quit till it's
You're not a quit. Yeah.
I think it's the whole, and then kettle cooked chips would be obviously any type of them. So your top three snacks, that's up. But non-game days, for sure, chips would be involved. I would go with any type of like pizza and pancakes. Yeah.
Good mix. That's like your off day meal plan is. I will say it's like for breakfast.
Pancakes from this coffee here in Montreal called September Cafe on Notre Dame. If you guys are from here, and you haven't tried it, which is impossible basically. Those ones are amazing. Like they're a little crispy and then fluffy. Don't ask me how they do it. Probably butter, but that's why they're so good.
Love a good flapjack.
Emily Clark is a big fan of those. I will give that to her. She's the one who introduced me to those.
I'm disappointed I've never been, but next time I'm in Montreal, it's going to be on the list. And Kax, what sport would you play if you didn't play hockey?
Ooh. You know what? That was something when I was in college. I'm like, ooh, what other sport could I do? And I always was intrigued by lacrosse somehow, but I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but apparently it's okay. But it's not as physical as, I guess I could slash as like on the men's side, right? Like at first I was like, why do they keep whistling? Like if you stand in the way of a player or something, they whistle, they stop the game, whatever. And then they have to drop their sticks to see if they're legal after they score goals and stuff like that. Like they have weird rules and I don't know them all. So I don't want to bash anything, but I think the game itself is very cool. And it's similar to hockey in a way. Lots of, stick landing, which is cradling the ball and then whipping it and then pass. I don't know. I just think
you've already got the lingo down. Like I feel like this is a good retirement career.
No, those girls are so good. They're amazing at what they do. And that game itself is like anyone who's in college right now, go watch them. I think you're not going to be disappointed. So if you've never seen a lacrosse game, go
check it out.
There's many different actually style of lacrosse though, in field versus like actually in like the men's side. There's like in arenas as well too, between boards. That's violent. The one, there's some in Ontario. Box lacrosse. That's it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm headed to a Toronto Rock game this weekend in Hamilton.
There you go. See, it's impressive.
Yeah. Okay. What about, it's a very cool experience.
It is. It's very cool. And they do it right. And what about you? First of all, your three snacks. And second of all,
snacks. Yeah. Love Skittles. Always love Skittles. Love Skittles on game day. Love Skittles on the bench. That's an easy snack.
I forgot gummy bears. That's true.
Ooh. Yeah.
Sorry. Keep going.
No, that's okay.
Too many snacks.
You just keep answering. Just give all the snacks.
All unhealthy snacks. It's perfect. This is Cheez-Its. Holy, I forgot.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, you know what? Recently, Rich and I started buying these, they're like
Cheez-Its Crunch. Chips. Oh, no. Okay.
No.
Okay. Sorry.
But good answer. And they make like a sweet and salty, I think it's called, or something.
Kettle corn?
Those are dynamite. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like kettle corn. Those are so good. Ate a bag of them yesterday. Not a big deal.
Of course. It's baby bags though. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby
And I'm
size.
not a quitter. And then I would say ice cream. And this is a new thing for me because when I started firefighting full time, I realized how important ice cream is to the culture. And I was not an ice cream girl before, but now I am. I've fully given into my desires of ice cream.
Before we
And then-
switch to wait. Okay,
go
this
ahead.
is your third or your fourth one. Okay, go ahead. I was
that was three.
gonna say flavor. You can't just go ice cream.
Ooh. Recently, I've been jonesing for the Oreo ice cream.
Okay.
Just like vanilla ice cream with crushed Oreos. So good.
Okay.
So good.
Fair.
But the best part is like, I don't put it in a bowl. I put it in a mug, but I like cram it in there. So I'm telling myself that I'm eating less, but actually I'm just like shoving it in a smaller
trying.
vessel. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Got it.
portion control.
That's fair. Whatever floats your boat.
And since now I'm a whale, the sport that I would choose if I wasn't playing hockey is, that's a tough one, actually. You know what? I would really like to be like super good at like gymnastics. Like,
Okay.
but like the unparalleled bars or something where
Like
you're
that
just
is
like,
the most painful sports you could possibly choose. Everything will hurt at all day, all time. It's training.
yeah, but I would be jacked and I could eat all the ice cream I ever wanted.
Okay. I mean, there's
Be like Michael
CrossFit. Which is
Phelps,
painful
like-
too. Okay.
He just eats like 12 cheeseburgers before a race because he's just got the metabolism of,
can't
I don't
do
know.
that. That's
a cheetah.
crazy.
Okay,
Throw up
we
in the
spent
pool.
way too much time, but
Too
I
much
love this
time.
question. Thank you at Hockey Thirst. Okay, Scholar 14, aka Nazem Kadri, is a Stanley Cup champion. Love that shout out. When and where will the Toronto Showcase be held? Ooh,
Well,
I think we could give like a general time.
date. Yeah, I think we could do like time, but not place yet.
Like, should we say like mid-February? Mid-February, I think, right? Right? Oh God, now I'm panicking. February sometime.
No, you're right. You're right. It is. So let's go with around that area, and we better see you there, Scholar 14. It's
Yeah.
all we have to say. It will be announced, obviously, as soon as we announce the other showcase and other things are coming up. So
Yes.
stay tuned on this one. But I'm excited for that too.
February. Maybe a
February.
little Valentine's date. Bring
that's a
somebody
good idea.
important to you.
I like
Okay.
it.
At podcast_luck, aka Leafs in 6 News. Now this is coming at us with some serious topics. I love it.
I love it.
What
6
are your
News.
thoughts?
Let's go.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the PHF and PWHPA merging? Kax, why don't you start?
Okay. So I think we've touched on that topic a few times before. And, the merge itself is kind of like a scenario we've faced since day one. And we try to see if we could actually do something together. We tried to reach out, and then, each year there's always a conversation that's being held between the two groups. And I think that needs to be said, because sometimes people may think that we don't open the door to have the conversation and vice versa, but no, conversations are there. Communication has been held, or I guess there's communication between the two groups. Merging. I don't know if merging is the right term, and I will let you go on that after I'm done. But I think, and this is my personal little touch that I would love to see happen, is that between the two groups, we will need some kind of communication at some point where we are in agreement that we want to grow the game together, and that in thinking that way and wanting to move forward and wanting to move, the game into that level and bridge the gap between the national players' talent to the people graduating from college, we will need the NHL and the AHL somehow, some way. So a feeder system that needs to happen. Is it one? Is it the other? Is it together that we build this? I think there's a way to do it. I think that everyone needs to put let's leave the game in a better spot than we found it, and have the real conversation of why not having teams that go and pick up into a farm team scenario when they have injuries or when players aren't performing, and why not having a farming league that actually that develop players right from college on before they get to the pro level. I think that that's what needs to happen. However it happens, I don't know at this point.
Time will
tell. I really want that to happen and people to understand that there needs to be a number of teams at the highest, a number of teams underneath, and then college that brings in players. And we have a feeder systems that leads to the pro league.
I think if we look at this like the opposite way, right? Like, let's say we went with a merger. Let's say the PWHPA like forms with the PHF.
Yeah.
You're giving female hockey players after college 7 teams to play on.
Yeah, that's it.
That's still only 160 players, call it.
Yeah.
So then you're still going to end up losing a whole bunch of talent who doesn't make that league. Like, it's not the solution.
And there's room for the 2 levels and developed.
You have to have it because like, you know, you work with university teams in Montreal. I work with university teams in Toronto. Like, these girls are great athletes. And when I ask them, hey, like, what are you thinking of doing? Like, when you graduate, it's like, oh, probably go play in Europe for a year and then find a job. It's like their dream of playing professional hockey is like short term, right? So we would be doing ourselves a disservice to minimize both of these groups who have both been successful to just 7 teams. So like, I'll say that.
I completely agree with that. And I just think it's giving, to be completely honest too, when I graduated, my level of hockey was good. Like, but there's always a step or 2. So like having this, like this section that you can still develop, you can still like maybe be at the top of that league or whatever and be recognized and then be drafted, like just like the guys are doing. Like, I mean, people, we send back our pros or our draftees to the AHL to develop more, to play with older players, to understand the game. Like there's no, it's not devaluating the 2. It's like we need the 2 in order to make that a true level of hockey that can support all of the women's graduating from college, and then develop that, you know, that pool of like good hockey players that want to stay and want to keep playing. I think that's the key for it.
And then it's like obviously further complicated by like the union. Like that's a truly professional league will have a union of play, like a true union that you pay union dues and you have a CBA and you have like representative for you. And currently that doesn't exist in women's hockey in the formal sense of the term. So like the vision that the PWHPA has that in it, and that currently doesn't exist. So that would complicate things, I'm sure. But like you say, that's a conversation, I think, for down the road. But these are all things that need to happen in our opinion. And again, this is just Liz and Karell talking.
This is Knoxy and Kax's opinion, not the whole thing.
Please don't come after me.
And it's okay. At the end of the day, I think everyone knows that we both see goods, and I think everyone should see some good in both scenarios, in both groups. And it's all about making, again, the goal is to make this freaking game better. So let's do it. Let's do it. That's all.
Okay. Moving on at Breezy 97. He's got
love it.
6 E's or 5 E's.
Yeah. It's a breeze and a half.
Breezy.
Let's go. He's got a couple of questions too, so let's go.
Yeah, he's got some good ones here. He says, whenever I go to sports conventions, the female hockey players that are present to sign autographs have a lower price per autograph. There are tons of stories about how NHLers can get a decent income from signing those autographs. How different is that experience for female players is the first question. And then the second question is there an appearance fee? Do you choose your price for these autograph sessions, or are they set for you?
So I think there's a couple of things in that. So it depends which appearances or signature or autograph sessions you are referring to. I do know that our national players get to go to these, autographs where they get paid for sessions. And I will say that if you're referring to something after a game that we host or that the PHF hosts, I do not believe there's any fees for any money making there. Yeah.
$0.
We do value the reach that we get and the connections we make by having those after games, and then, connecting with the fans that are in the stands and having the young girls seeing us like truthfully without a cage on and anything like we look alike or vice versa, anything like that. And then in terms of like appearances, so some here in the P-Dub, whenever there's clinics or other appearances, there is some kind of money that can be made here and there in those, and I believe the PHF has that too, but I'm not sure. I couldn't answer for their stuff. So, and then lastly, I do know that the NHLs can get decent income. The level of visibility, the level of credibility, the level of like who they are and what they are to the fans is a little bit higher. So what that means is that those companies are paying them, and now we just need to be recognized by the same companies to get paid as well too for those autograph sessions.
And this is like a complicated thing as we strive to professionalize women's hockey, is that like the fan experience of these athletes is going to change. And this is my like fair warning to fans. Like it is a little ridiculous that you can like just go to a game for $45 or whatever and then meet Kendall Coyne Schofield after the game, like the fastest female hockey player currently, possibly ever. And you can just like stand in a line for 10 minutes and get her autograph. Like at some point that accessibility to our athletes will change, but in our, fight and recognition in the gap between men's and women's hockey, this is kind of one of those things that as a players association, we've agreed as a non-negotiable that we need to be accessible to the fans to give them that visibility and that intimacy with their dream, because that's what this is the Dream Gap Tour. Granted, in a few years from now or however long, that may change. I hope it changes, because I hope girls, female athletes, have the opportunity to make some money on these sorts of things.
Absolutely. As they should. And everyone should be happy to do so and kind of understand that, I just love to compare, like, would you see a McDavid after a game waiting for 10 minutes and, all that. No,
but I do. There's something like, oh my gosh, I saw Nursey and Saulnier like meet a girls team outside the locker room in Pittsburgh, and one of the girls walked past me. She goes, "Oh my God, I just touched Sarah Nurse's arm." And I was like,
I love that.
So cute. But
I was trying to,
hey up, kid.
I was trying to get out of the rink, and I was walking with Pooh to go back to the bus, and there was a team from Brampton that was there in Pittsburgh. And then I was like, "Okay, Pooh, you got this." And she's like, yeah, let's go. And then obviously the first person is like, "Oh my gosh, Mary Phillip, oh my God. And they're like, "Can we take a picture?" And she's like, "Of course." And I'm like, "Oh, this is the start." I'm like, "Do you want me to take the picture?" So I was like, I had the phone for a bit. And then after that, I'm like giving the phone back and I'm waiting, and I'm like, I don't want to be like in the background of these. So I left outside, and the only way to get her to say no or to say like is it needs to make sense that it's not coming from her. She loves taking a picture, and like, but if you let her do it, she'll do it for like an hour, and then we can't leave on the bus. So I was just outside, and I was like, "Gotta go!" Like screaming in the back, like it was coming from someone else or something. And I'm just like, "Sorry guys, I gotta go." And then finally got out. But shout out to that team that was there. Obviously, this is what, we all love to do, and Mary loves doing it too. And, they get to see their biggest, idol, I guess, or, and it's true. We love to connect with them, but at some point, maybe Mary will have some, or I don't know why I keep calling her Mary, but Pooh will have some security around her where she can, walk around a little bit.
I will be applying for that job, and I want a headset. Copy that.
You talk in your sleeve, Yeah.
Big Bird's on
coming.
move.
We're coming front door. Big Bird is on move. Okay, next up.
Great question. Okay.
Love it.
At Parmirshi. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Michael Parmirshi. Parmirshi. I could be absolutely butchering this. I apologize, Michael. He asks, Sweden's women's national team has established themselves as a gold candidate every national tournament in the last 5 years with Canada and the USA. Do you guys have any fun or memorable moments playing against Sweden? I do.
Okay, let's hear it. Go, Knoxy.
So, in 2009, when I played for the under 22, or it was the development team. It was that weird year when we transitioned from under 22.
When everyone was part of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we were U22. The tournament was U25. I think we may have had 1 or 2 girls that was an overager or like over under 22.
Yeah.
Regardless, we went into the 8 Nations Cup tournament, used to be MLP Cup in Germany. And we played Sweden in the final, and probably the demise of my Hockey Canada career, we lost.
It's okay.
I remember Mel Davidson coming in the locker room afterwards and was basically like, you are a disgrace to your country.
No, she probably wasn't that harsh. Let's be honest. Mel in her own way was just like, Canada, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, she was like, it's gold or nothing. And we were coming home with silver. So that's my fond memory. Kax, do you have any?
Okay, but to that extent too, like I'm pretty sure majority of those are that year, I'm trying to think now. Yeah, maybe that year they were actually bringing their national team, so senior teams.
That was the
right?
point. Was like they had like a senior team, and like I laugh about it now. It was probably
we were the one that didn't make the senior team. Let's be honest, we didn't get invited. So yeah, I was. I remember that year actually.
But and a great team, a very talented team. Like we had so many like nameable people, household names now on that team, but it's probably the tournament that everyone wants to forget about.
No, that is, I remember that. And it's okay. You know what? Like good on, it's okay to lose once in a while. How about that? How about let's reset, learn, and
builds character.
Actually, the resiliency too. So I don't mind that. I mean, sorry you lost, Knox, and sorry Mel was, I'm kidding. No,
hasn't talked to me since. No, but Sweden was so good. And they had, Kim Martin at the time, who's a fantastic goalie, like somebody that I looked up to, who like mentored me through my playing career. We were very similar in age, but she was always so generous with her time. The Swedes are a great group of athletes, and I'd agree with Michael. I mean, I hope to see them continue like since the last couple of years.
Up, absolutely,
we want to see them climb that ladder again.
And that's all about like and we see more and more coaches going other places and developing and from anywhere really, and we hope that programs can generate even more women's hockey and keep them in the sports too, right? So I think a lot of people like get to a time where, you retire and then the teams are like affected by those things. And then we have the next generation coming in and being ready to play. So I think we're going to see even more of those great games against Sweden here and there. Mm-hmm. That's all I got for you on this one. Absolutely. Thanks for the question, Michael.
And at Giant Pie 12, which is a great handle for this question, especially.
Seriously.
What's your favorite dessert, Kax?
Okay. This is
I'm going to extrapolate here a little bit. Not just like, okay, I had a regular Wednesday night dinner. Like, let's go holiday feast. What is your... Like, I want something special.
Yeah, this is the thing, though. Like, I'm hooked on maple syrup. And
just a bottle.
I have, actually a lot of it. I love maple syrup on everything. I'm not as bad as some of our guests that we had on this show here and there. But I will say that in French, it's pudding au chômeur, which is something bread. Wait, what is it in English? It's
French
not
bread. French toast.
No, it's like the translation would be poor man's pudding or something like, but I don't know what it's called. It's not pudding. It's like a bread, like it's like a white cake.
Carry on. It'll come to me.
Yeah, it'll come. Okay. So it's like a vanilla or white cake, whatever it's called. Like, I don't know, in maple syrup, basically drenched in it, pretty much infused with it. Wow. I can eat that like there's one place I used to make it that we used to go at a coffee shop here in Montreal with our friend. It was called Les Demoiselles, and I could have that thing. I lived with Pooh at the time, and the amount of pudding au chômeur that we bought. So that thing, if someone can translate it somewhere and then put it here, this is what I meant. It's a really good dessert, but it's like mainly maple syrup and cake dipped into maple syrup, if that makes it even better. It's so simple. With a little bit of vanilla ice cream, you just have like best of both worlds, I guess, right there. You know,
Yum.
I was debating between that or sugar pie, so I'm in that.
Ooh.
Yeah. You,
Nice.
what is your favorite dessert?
Well, in the spirit of Giant Pie 12, I am a sucker for a good strawberry rhubarb pie.
You know what? I can go with that too.
Yeah.
I like that. I like pie over cake sometimes.
You like pie.
Yeah, we do. Good job. Giant pie. Giant
Great
pie 12.
question,
Big
Giant
fan.
Pie 12. Giant Pie. Let's go. Okay.
That's a good one.
47 with a great question. When will Rebecca Johnny Hockey Johnston be on the pod?
Let's tag her
Putting it
right
on
now.
my list right now.
At Johnny. You
At
need to get
Johnny.
on the pod because
Answer my texts.
exactly, because our fans want to have you. She would be fabulous to get on. Hear a little bit more about her career as she was a sprinter and a hockey player at Cornell. So that'd be fun to touch on that. Comes from a
Super
big
athlete.
family, super athlete, works with the farm team for Calgary. I mean, you're
We'll
right.
try to get her on. Wolf Cola.
We try. We try all
maybe
the
this
time.
season.
Oh, she
Maybe
will.
this season.
People love
we'll
it.
try. Okay, the next two are I'm gonna loop them together because I just love Leaf fans. Okay, at Orzech Matanya, aka Money T456, wants to know why are the Leafs trash and why is Matt Murray injury prone? And then Sean Bay 246278742 who has one follower because I love. Why does life as a Leafs fan stink like poop?
You know what?
Women's hockey.
I actually don't follow. Yeah, no, that's, you know what? I'm a Habs fan, so I don't mind these questions. And, why actually Liz Knox? Why are the Leafs trash?
Well, actually, they're
How
on
does
this
it
like
feel?
4-game heater right now. So
You're right. And Marner's been on an 18-game streak for one
not a
point.
big deal.
You know, but it
And-
was stinky for a bit and it was hurting. And all fans were like, I quit.
It always
Why do you
hurts.
quit so quick?
Yeah.
As a
It's
fan.
only been
Why do you
40
quit so
whatever
fast?
years. Why are you quitting now?
Okay, you're all in. We're going for the cup. And then they lose 5. And it's like, trash. We're going to do it again.
Trash.
Believe, people.
Yeah, belief. Belief.
Believe. Stupid. Don't you
And
dare
Matt
make
Murray's
fun.
injury prone because it would be like me going back to play pro hockey right now. You know what? He's still good. He still loves the game, but like the joints do crazy things when you hit this age. But we're confident here in Leafs Nation that he's going to make a great comeback and
There you go.
give the boys a run.
There you go, Knoxy. Now you're a believer.
I'm back to believing. Okay. At MW Bower, aka Matthew, another Matthew. Hi, Liz and Karell.
Hi, Matt.
Are there any plans on doing a PWHPA hashtag secret dream gap tour in at City of Markham?
Oh,
Oh,
look at that.
I
Look at that sweater
love
you're wearing.
Markham.
Look at that sweater. I will say that Markham was really fun to play in during my CWHL time. I'm not going to lie. So, Matthew, I would love for the showcase to have a stop there. Who knows? Maybe the GTA tour. Who knows?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe.
I'm starting rumors.
Maybe.
City of Markham. Let's bring us there. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it.
Markham was fantastic. The fans are great. I loved playing there for my 2 years.
just need
last 2
another
years
rink.
at CW. Like another rink, yeah. I mean, Centennial's great though, where
I was
the
gonna
Waxers
say-
play out of.
Yeah.
They hosted the Clarkson Cup.
Yeah, that
in
one.
2013.
When you
14?
when it was like a Frozen 4-ish type of deal, you know? That was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we love the City of Markham. Be in touch. Let's make that happen.
Connect.
At Arm Control Mick, aka Brandon McLaughlin. if the potential, okay, this is a good question because I think this is confusing some people. If the potential PWHPA league does indeed have a regular season that runs from January to April, would that mean that the IIHF will have Worlds pushed back in May in those years? I was wondering that, as I recall that the IIHF initially tried to hold 2021 Worlds in May. So this is why you don't start rumors, people.
Someone said somewhere that we were going to start in January. Wrong.
Yes. So now we need to take some responsibility on this one because the PWHPA did initially have this very aspirational goal of starting a league in January of 2023, like a month from now.
Yeah, that's true.
Since then, in our discussions with our investor group and just the way that things have rolled out, that is not the plan. That was always an ambitious goal. We're proud of it, but it was a little lofty. And the idea for the potential PWHPA league, we'll use Brandon's own language, would be a regular hockey season. So it would be no different
October to March type
your
of deal.
Traditional. Yeah, exactly. October to March, September to March. So, in terms of how that would affect IIHF or the Olympics or anything like that, this is obviously very hypothetical. This is there's no inside information on this. This is just us speculating, but, it would be similar to what has happened, in previous seasons with the CWHL or the PHF or the NWHL or whatever. And then with the Olympic years, that would be like a CBA negotiation to be determined because it would be similar, and the NHL, are we going to release our players to play? I mean, obviously very different in women's hockey when we have such a rich history of representation, but who knows? That's for the lawyers to figure out. And I'm not one of those.
Yeah. And I think also speculation here in terms of preparation too. They were happening, I guess, when people were in college, right? After their own season. So there's some kind of camp that was prepped towards prepping the players and then sending them to Worlds, pre-COVID and everything. Now, since COVID has been kind of hectic in terms of schedule, and then we'll see this year. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a different time. I don't know if it's going to be it got announced, correct? Or has it not been announced yet?
I don't know if it has been announced
officially.
It's been announced in inner circles.
So we've heard some dates might be a bit different than other years. Again, same COVID scenario or out of COVID. But I would assume that even in terms of USA Hockey and Hockey Canada and other federations, when there's going to be a league, the preparation for those players will be kind of put onto the league's games and even maybe less camps and shorter camp or shorter centralization might be something that we will see in the future when and if this league is being created.
In my imagination, at least, if we, if you have the best players competing on a regular time basis with great facilities and access to strength and conditioning coaches, all these things that we want for a professional league, the trajectory of athletes, coming out of college is no longer separated by if you're on the national team or not. It's just you come out of college, you either are developing or you start in a pro league, and then they just pick the best players from that season. And then they have, Kax was saying, an abbreviated tryout period. And if you show up ready for tryouts and you're sick, then you play. And if you don't,
absolutely, because it's at the end of the day, you show up to camps right now for 2-3 weeks, and you're trying to connect with players and then connect with a line or maybe a D partner so that you can make a team at the end of the day. So it's what we've been used to for national teams for sure. So again, it's quick chemistry, who's doing well with who, and let's leave them together and hope for the best in terms of the tournaments when it comes to that. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
But great question. And thank you for asking because, this January to April is no longer, on the radar. So stay tuned. You can have the best of both worlds. You can have a couple seasons of hockey and some Worlds. Okay. We're down to our last question. Although I haven't refreshed my Twitter feed or anything like that. But
I'm looking at it right now too. We can do some comments too, but there's not many No, not any new questions, but I love your show and get Laura McIntosh on your show and Rebecca Johnston. So we'll listen, guys. We will listen before. We'll get them on it.
So at Matt Wilkins, YXS, aka Matt Wilkins, asks, this is a great way to wrap up this episode. Seriously. What is the biggest obstacle to having a stable national women's pro league? He puts in brackets US and Canada. Is it sponsorship, NHL support, broadcaster buy-in, or something else? Kax, what's your take?
What is the biggest obstacle? I think this is crazy. The biggest obstacle we had in the past 4 years has been COVID. Let's be honest here. I think we would have been a little bit further, if not way further than we are right now if we didn't have that. Now, if we get very specific and I don't think it's NHL support. I don't think we absolutely need it by any means. Broadcasters buy-ins are buying even more and more into it. Is it a buy-in like the NHL that we need or will need down the road? Probably. I think that the biggest obstacle we faced was not even convincing. I don't know if it's the right term, but it's having the right people in place or in the same room to talk and see exactly how we wanted us players for this league to be like, and to, doing it for the players, by the players has been something I've been using anyways in the past few years. And I think that, you talk to people have great ideas, people have fantastic thoughts and ideas on how it should go and be ran. And at the end of the day, when we started talking CBAs and we started talking about things that should happen and why we need a union, as you mentioned, and other things like that, the biggest obstacle has been the fine tuning of, wording and contracts and having the right people to say, absolutely, we see exactly what you're seeing and we want to jump on board with you guys and go with it. And we have been picky. So I think I will leave it to that. I think that there's many opportunities that came here and there throughout the few years that the PWHP has been formed. And I think that the buy-ins is not an issue. I think it's the full buy-ins. It's we understand where women's sports is at. We understand that it's the next thing and invest in women's is great. We still see these little issues everywhere, right? On forgetting about the women here and there, right? So we want to make sure that we do not forget about the players and the women and the people that have been there, pushing for this. So we might be, I don't want to say we might be our biggest obstacle, but for once, I think we're, pushing for something that has never been seen. So sometimes it's hard to see it and to come around it and fully get on board. And I think we're there. And I think people are now getting it too. So I don't know what you think, Liz, but that's my thought on it.
I agree. And I'm going to put a big word on it.
Okay, let's see it.
And I hope I do this justice.
Okay.
Our biggest obstacle is misogyny.
Whoa!
The idea that there's, and I'm not saying we hate women. No, that's not what misogyny is. Misogyny is ingrained prejudice that a women's league could never succeed.
Yeah.
You guys can't do that. Nobody's going to watch it. Oh, look at all the leagues that folded. We're you can't even get marketing. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's never been done. That's the freaking point. Dr. Courtney Cito gave this great example 5 years ago now. It was could you imagine being in the boardroom when somebody pitched darts on TSN?
Yeah.
And I can only picture a bunch of dudes sitting around being well, who's going to watch it? And then whoever's pitching it being we'll make them watch it. That's what we do. We're marketing experts. We're going to sell ads. We're going to sell the players' personalities. We're going to sell their stories about how they started playing darts in some bar in the middle of nowhere. And now here they are. They made it. Somebody collectively, a group of predominantly men, I'll say, sat down and was like, what can we sell an audience that they don't even know they want? And they landed on darts. Like,
that's a great example for sure.
It's just the idea that inherently women's sports is a charity.
Yeah.
Inherently, nobody will put their advertising dollars into women's sports. Inherently, people will not come. Like, this is our biggest obstacle. And like, to your point, Kax, like what you are articulating is like, we see it, we see little speckles of it at every step of the way. And we see it in ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. We stop ourselves here and there. We
grew up playing hockey, like a rich white man sport. Like, if you don't think there's part of us that at every step of this way has been like, oh shit, like, are we doing the right thing here? Do we deserve this? Like, it's misogyny. We've learned it. So that's not something we can take down overnight, unfortunately.
Not really, but it's, I think we're in the right time and in the right, maybe generations of openness-ish to kind of come around that. But you put it, that is exactly why the obstacle and why.
And we've been very careful, like at the PWHPA, to bring people into our inner circle that if they don't believe in us, they believe more in us than we do in ourselves. That has been a non-negotiable. And I credit Hillary Knight. I credit Kendall Coyne. Like, I credit the leaders on the board of the PWHPA, Sarah Nurse, like Brianne Jenner. Like, these are girls who are like, no, like, we will not tolerate anybody's bullshit here. This is what we deserve. This is what we want. And like, that has been kind of the answer, I would say, to these obstacles, is that just this like fiery ball of believing in ourselves.
Yeah, you should get some credit too. Don't you dare not name yourself in there and what you bring and other things here. No,
it's the Knoxy and Kax show. That's what we bring.
Exactly. I think that with the experience we've had maybe in the past, we are at a point in the stage of our life as well too, that we're just like, no, we're done being grateful. We are grateful. Let's not get this wrong. We are very grateful for everything we've had, but we're done being like, oh, thank you so much for this. Can we have this too? No, it's like, hey, let's hit that. We're going to be super grateful for it. And then let's hit that together and let's go higher and higher and keep moving. And, it's, again, you named a few, and the Kendall and the Hillary Knight, and then bringing in Billie Jean King, who thought way further than us when she first started with us. And then where we're at now, even when we made offers and then it came back with, you need more. And yes, I was like, okay, you're right. Yeah. You're totally right. So those are the people that we were waiting to get with and to, do business with in terms of that. So, our pickiness, and then in another term, everything you just mentioned, misogyny.
Like, this will round things out. Like, we would be remiss to feel like we did this all on our own. Like, we obviously leaned heavily on the National Women's Soccer League, both of our national women's soccer teams, the WNBA, former women's hockey leagues that failed, women's tennis. Like, these are all people, individuals, corporations, teams that we look to when we had this goal, or as we kind of formed our identity, to say, okay, these people have done the work for us. Let's not settle for less than what they've worked their asses off for. Right?
Exactly. So, let's learn from some of this stuff that they did right, and maybe even learn themselves through, failure, because failure brings like another steps. And I would, that's a good point. We need to actually shout out to all of them too. And everyone that's been trying to make a difference in any of our women's sports, basically, in the past few years. But yeah, that was a great answer. I like that. I hope we answered your question, Matt.
Yeah. And since we're talking about leaning on the legends that came before us, what better way to give back than to see them coaching at the All-Star Weekend in Ottawa? So we have some guest coaches. I can't tell you who they are. We will find out soon. The All-Star teams have been made. I also can't tell you who's on them, but we have our captains. There's so much happening at once. We're in Ottawa, December 9th to 11th. There will be regular season games on the Friday and Saturday. Yeah. Sunday will be a 3-on-3 style tournament, and then the on-ice skills competition. So we'll have goalies out, players. It's going to be a great time. Fastest skater. And then we've just announced at the PWHPA, Owen Sound and Collingwood in January. So January 21st, 22nd, those games will be split up. We're being hosted by the Owen Sound Attack. We're so pumped to be back in Ontario. You guys can catch all that information and more right here or on pwhpa.com. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram. No more Facebook. Our Facebook page disappeared, but you can find everything you want on the Knoxy and Kax show. Kax,
absolutely.
This was such a fun episode, and I honestly can't wait to do it again sometime.
Yeah, next month, rendezvous. We'll give it back to you guys. Ask us questions. Anything you want to know.
And more,
we'll give more
stats with Kax.
Yeah, let's start that. I love it.
Awesome. Well, tune in, guys, next week as we take to Ottawa. We'll see you then.
The Knoxy and Kax Show on SDPN, produced in partnership with the PWHPA and presented by Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook. Follow Knoxy and Kax on Twitter at 27Knoxy and at Karell Emard. The views expressed are those of the individuals and are not necessarily those of the PWHPA. Check out sdpn.ca for more Knoxy and Kax and the rest of the SDPN crew.
She scores!